All right, so it is Rebellion. Rebellion is typically like Rebellion of the big four. This is one that kind of gets slept on. They usually kind of have pretty good matches. And the last at Hard to Kill, man, the Palms crowd really showed up and they showed out. And so I'm hoping that they get plenty of people in there, and I hope they're loud. But in 6-man tag action, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a share screen because there's no pop-up ads on this website.
Oh.
So and it's got pictures because it's actually the TNA website. So 6-man tag action. We got ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay, and Leon Slater. If you have not seen Leon Slater, this dude is awesome. Mm-hmm. He is really good. Taking on the Rascals and Myron Reed. I mean, if you're trying to get people excited for your show, I think that's a hell of a way to do it.
Yeah,
those guys. Yeah, and I think the Rascals take it because I think ABC is breaking up here pretty soon. So but that should be a hell of a match.
It's about time. I like Myron Reed. I like Leon Slater. It's going to be a spotterific 6-man, which I love. So cool.
Yeah, and then we go digital media title, Crazy Steve versus Laredo Kid. My answer to this is who gives a shit. But I think Crazy Steve's on his way out. They got tapings coming up, and he's asking people for other bookings. So I think he's on his way out. And they actually did an interview with Laredo Kid for the first time. He's been there for like 4 years, and I don't think he's won a match. So it's time for him to win a singles match for the first time. So he's getting a title shot. Yeah,
I was gonna say, you're actually gonna tell me Laredo Kid's gonna win a match and on pay-per-view on top of that?
Yeah. Wow. I think so. I think they're finally gonna do something with Laredo Kid. Knockouts World Tag Team Championship match. Spitfire, that's Danny Luna and Jody Threat. And it just got announced that they are actually going to be accompanied to the ring by Lars Fredrickson from Rancid, and also from Lars Fredrickson and the Bastards.
Why?
So with Lars being out there, I think Decay's got to lose. So I'm gonna go Spitfire on that deal.
Why is Lars Fredrickson scoring to the ring? Like, what am I missing?
I think he had been tweeting about it, and like that they're punk rock fans. I think he might be doing a song for them for like their entrance. Yeah, and I think he's just friends with Jody Threat.
Fair.
So, yeah, and he goes to the TNA shows when they come to the West Coast. So there's like, hey, you want to escort them? And he's like, yeah.
He big wrestling fan, so okay, that's cool.
Well, none of that. Like, Lou D'Angeli is best friends with CM Punk, and so is Lars Fredrickson. So I think they just have he's just kind of a TNA fan because of that. I think they're always all friends.
Cool.
Oh, dude. Oh, you know what? This reminds me. I did a bad tweet. We got to pull it up. Hold on. Oh. If I'm going to call people out for their bad tweets, I think it's important that I get called out for my bad tweets.
You're interrupting your TNA preview to call yourself out on a bad tweet?
Oh, because it's a doozy, my friend. It is a doozy. You're gonna love this. Yeah, you're gonna love this. Oh my gosh. Oh, I stopped share screen. I'll bring it back. Sorry.
Let's find your tweet first.
Yeah. Gotta find my tweet. Okay, so TNA announced that DJ Ashba plays the national anthem this Saturday at 8 p.m. at Rebellion. And I said, whose MP3 is he going to play on his computer? Because I thought this guy is a DJ. Because his name's DJ Ashba. As it turns out, he was the guitar player for Guns N' Roses. And his name just happens to be DJ. Like I forgot that people actually have that as like a real name, DJ.
Well, who are you talking to?
JD, yeah. But yours is JD. Like I assume a musician, when they're called DJ and some stupid name after that they just play music on their computer and people point at them as they dance stupidly. Stupid college-age white kids. Okay. But I got a bunch of people correcting me. To include my cousin, who is a Guns N' Roses super fan, Joe. He's like, dude, he actually like replaced fucking God, what the hell? I can't believe I'm totally brain dead right now.
Did he replace Slash?
He replaced Slash. Yeah, he replaced like I think like Buckethead was a good, and this guy played.
It was Slash, then Buckethead, and I think Slash came back for a brief period.
Slash is back now, but this guy was one point was in the band at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not like okay, let's be honest. He's in Guns N' Roses, but it's like,
No, it's he's going to play the guitar. But honestly, if he were a DJ, like an actual DJ, that joke is awesome. Okay. Because DJs are not musicians. They just play music on their computer. Okay. They're all idiots. All of them.
That's like saying Dave Navarro. That's like saying Dave Navarro was in the Chili. Yeah, Dave Navarro was in the Chili Peppers for a while, but like not the good version of the Chili Peppers. Like
he was in the Chili Peppers for one album. Okay,
and it was not.
He's a Jane's Addiction guy.
He's a Jane's Addiction guy.
Yeah.
That is hilarious, Mike.
Yeah,
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that was look, one of my best bad tweets of all time. So
legendary.
Yeah. And so they have a thing going on. Who will show up? Lights Out. They did a whole vignette. They're gonna have a big surprise. I brought up LAX earlier because I think the big, they're not saying big, but they did a vignette and it's like it kind of looked like a Bray Wyatt-y type of thing. So naturally made me think that it was Matt Hardy, but it could be a swerve and it might end up being Santana. And I think if they're going to bring Santana back, they need to bring back LAX and have him be the leader of LAX. And I think that would work.
Who do you put
do something with that.
Who do you put in LAX then?
Well, I mean, yeah, he can't do Ortiz, but I'm sure he has other friends, right? And he works Puerto Rico all the time, and he works AAA all the time. They could get somebody. I'm not suggesting, I'm not suggesting Laredo Kid, but they could get some, like, I would like to see them bring in somebody like new. Because I think that's the cool thing about LAX. When Conan came in and they brought Hernandez and Homicide, I know Homicide had some Ring of Honor stuff under his belt for the most part. To a big audience, he was relatively unknown. I kind of like that part of LAX, like learning about new people. So I think that would be cool. If they did somebody new, or it could be Broken Matt. And I've been saying for weeks that if Matt Hardy's going to come back and he wants to do his Broken Matt shtick, the only place he can do it and kind of get away with it, that might like appreciate it, would be TNA, because that's where it started. And I think that would be kind of a, and he didn't have to stay around for very long. He can do it for 6 months and he can go back to, go get a producer gig. But if he wants to do that, I think that would work. Io says, that's not Io. Hold on. Io says, Danny Limelight and Slice Boogie is who I can think of. I've seen those names tossed around.
Okay, so Danny Limelight and Slice Boogie were in that MLW knockoff version of the 5150, I think they called themselves, and it didn't work out very well. Has Danny Limelight been working? I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Last I saw, he was doing like stuff on like OnlyFans.
Well, that's kind of in trouble. I heard is Danny Limelight burnt a lot of bridges, and I cannot remember the last time I saw Danny Limelight's name floated around.
Hey, remember when you got in trouble by Court Bauer?
Oh my God, yeah.
Because they changed Danny Limelight's name to something.
Daniel Rivera. And I said,
Daniel Rivera.
And I just said he's on the MLW. I RT'd the MLW account. I said he's Danny Limelight everywhere else, but MLW got to be different. And Court felt the need, because Court does not like me, the need to say this was a change that he wanted. And I said, then why is he Danny Limelight everywhere else?
Right.
I believe I got blocked shortly after that.
Yes, you did. Then we got the tagline on this match. TNA, you guys got to do better than this. Former friends. Joe Hendry versus Rich Swann with Dollar General in his corner. I don't care. I think Swann's gonna win this because they're gonna push Swann as a heel now. So
should.
Yeah. Full Metal Mayhem. This should be awesome. Eric Young versus Kazarian. This probably could end up being match of the night because these guys are gonna, these guys can really freaking go. And they're in their 40s now, but whenever they get opportunities to shine, they do really fucking good. These guys are awesome.
Oh, let's not talk shit on people in their 40s, man. Yeah. Cat's gonna win, right? Because EY gonna go back to the Fed, right?
That is my suspicion. That is my suspicion because I know he left WWE. He signed an NDA on his way out, and he said the only reason he left is because he refused to work for Vince, and Vince is gone. He's a Triple H guy, and Sanity's back together out there on the Indies. I think we just saw Sean Spears. What's his name? Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger just returned to NXT.
No, he's Sean Spears.
He's Sean Spears in NXT. I thought he was Ty. He's not Ty Dillinger there.
No, he's been Sean Spears.
Oh, really? Okay, I have not watched NXT in a while. So, but I could see Triple H and Shawn Michaels kind of like wanting to bring back people from like the glory days of NXT whenever they make the move to CW. I could just see that. So,
sure.
Yeah. World Tag Team titles. The System takes on Speedball Mountain. Probably going to be a good match. I just don't think anybody's going to care about it because Speedball Mountain happens to be the worst name of a tag team I've ever heard. And all Trent Seven does since he's been in TNA is lose, which I happen to approve of. I think that's a good place for him, just to lose matches. So, but I think System takes that one pretty well, easy.
Sure.
Yeah, and JD's match of the night, Mustafa Ali, the president of all things wrestling from Chicago, apparently, takes on Jake Something. I think this match is going to be awesome. Jake Something rules.
I love Jake Something, but Mustafa Ali is going to ruin it by doing shtick because apparently he wants to be a shtick guy now because he's got to impress Triple H. Got to get that job back.
He did that with Hiromu Takahashi and Daryl. He has not done that since he's been in TNA. Like his match with Chris Sabin last month was awesome.
Those fucking promos, man. Those fucking
him
promos.
And Sabin tore it down.
Because Chris Sabin,
he ruined your night. Yeah, Chris Sabin is. Awesome.
Chris Sabin doesn't have bad matches. He's not capable of. Somewhere Sam's listening to it and thinking about his abs, and she's right.
No, Sam likes his nips.
Nips. That's what it was. Was the nips? It wasn't the abs. I forgot. I'm no judge on a man's nipples, so I'll just take her word for it. No, I'm so Mustafa Ali can go back to WWE. Bores me.
Next match, last man standing match. Josh Alexander versus Hammerstone. This is my favorite feud in TNA, and it's been my favorite feud in a while. Hammerstone has brought back the torture rack. I know Will Hobbs is doing it. I don't doing it too. I think I like it on Hammerstone just because he kind of like resembles like Lex Luger because he's so shredded. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he actually beat down Alexander last time, took his headgear. And now he goes to the arena and he will put the headgear on somebody, beat them up, and put them in the torture rack. He did it to he actually was able, like the greatest feat of strength I've ever seen on pro wrestling was just last week when Hammerstone put the headgear on Tommy Dreamer and they got Tommy Dreamer up in the torture rack.
Damn.
That's impressive. Like it's like, okay, this brother's legit. And then he just did it tonight to Little Guido, who Little Guido's back.
Not as impressive.
No, but he brought back FBI.
Oh,
wow. Not Tracy, obviously not Tracy Smothers, but not Tommy Rich either, or Tony Mamaluke, but and IO in the chat. What? So it's Zach Clayton, who was on AEW for a little bit, who is like he's one of the guys from the reality show.
No, he's also one of the. Isn't Zach Clayton? Wasn't he one of Tony D's family in NXT?
No, you're thinking of Tony Dimebags or something like that. I think that's what you're thinking of.
No, the one that got fired. I thought that was because they had the one guy like Tony like Stack Snacks or something like that. Like the one that got fired. Wasn't that Zach Clayton? Right?
I don't know. Let me see. So, but the other guy I wanted to talk to you about because he is actually apparently like a high level wrestler. I'm about to pull up his name. I can't. So Zach Clayton's the one guy, and then the other guy is Real J Raz. Jay has an amateur background. He's been with Little Guido since 2022. But I can't. I'm trying to pull up his credentials here, but I can't seem to pull them up.
I assume that's working.
Mentor coach, NCAA All-American, NYU grad, pro wrestler, FBI, Ray Jazz. So yeah, you probably. I mean, I just assume you know every amateur wrestler, but you might not know this one.
Where did he go?
Oh yeah, Ray Jazz and Zach Clayton. Zach Clayton's famously married to Jay Wow. So there you go.
Okay. Where did this guy go to college?
I don't know where he went to college. I just went up to his Twitter and I just couldn't find it. So
you said he was an All-American. He graduated from NYU. Because that means
NYU,
it's D3 kid. Okay. Yeah.
D3. Yeah. Okay. Next, you got Jordan Grace and Steph DeLander. She was coming out with Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona tore his pec, and Matt Cardona was actually booked for the tapings after Rebellion, but looks like he's going to be out for a while. Yeah, tough break for him.
Is Steph okay? This is a legit question because I've never watched her wrestle. Is she any good?
She's okay. She's not great. No, she's like fine. But she does that same deathmatch gimmick that Matt Cardona does. So
Jordan will carry her. You think something good?
I think Jordan will get a good match out of her. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. BQ calls her Steph Double D Lander, which I think is hilarious. Yeah, I think that's a great nickname. Yeah, but I think Jordan wins this one. I don't think it's time to take that off Jordan. And then we get to the main event. World champion Moose, our favorite, versus one Ziggy Dolphin himself, Nic Nemeth. And I was gonna say that Moose should keep the title because they just started this whole deal with Moose. They just got the faction going. I happen to like Moose. I know a lot of people don't. Okay, I get it. A lot of people don't like the system. I personally happen to like the system because I'm a fan of Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers has grown on me over the years as like an in-ring performer. Okay, it has not worked. It just hasn't. So, and we have to acknowledge when something's not working. Ratings have completely plummeted. I know some of that has to do with the instability of the company. Scott D'Amore, getting fired, and then the production has been atrocious. But the guy at the top is Moose. He's been the world champion, and numbers have just dwindled since he's been the champion. And you have to take notice of that. So if they got dates on Nic Nemeth for a while, I would say it's probably time to put the belt on Nic Nemeth. I think Moose keeps it, but I think it might be time for Nic Nemeth to be the champion here.
Define plummeted. Where are the ratings at right now for TNA?
I think last week they were at like 85.
Oh, 85,000. That's a big drop.
And so they're usually up into the ones, over 100,000. But I think not only them taking the fourth quarter off last year, they never really regained the television audience. Let's be honest, that hard to kill number that they got that broke the record, that was a social media campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It legitimately was, and that's why I've been saying for a couple months now that it is time for TNA. Like, they can keep their show on Access, but it's time to just put the show on YouTube for free. Right, and just do it like live on YouTube, the same way they used to do it on Twitch, and I think that's going to grow their audience. But none of it's going to matter if they don't fix the production, because they're still having the same issues that they had when you and I did Brace for Impact together, and at times it looks worse. So they can't get out of their own way.
I remember in October of last year, we said, "Well, never forget this." He said, "TNA is going to it was Impact Time, was going to significantly invest in their production and make big strides." And I said, Mike, that's not going to happen, because they would just do it. Like, you wouldn't make your show look worse and then make it look better. And I was right. And I will keep saying that until I'm proven wrong. I don't care who wins this match. I don't like Nic Nemeth. That goes back to 2000.
That's not like a pro wrestling thing. That's a Kent State thing.
Fuck Kent State. 44 years old. I'm going to say that till the day I die.
Yeah.
That being said, everything you said makes complete and total sense. He's the New Japan Global Heavyweight Champion. Yep. Speaking of a company that has too many belts. So, I don't know. It would make sense to put it on him. He's got that former WWE stuff, and that actually does tend to help TNA. Doesn't help anywhere else, but it tends to help TNA when former WWE guys jump over there. And it's tradition. New guy leaves WWE, goes TNA, put the title on him. That's what we do.
Yeah, and people hate that tradition, and I get it.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
It depends on the person in this sense. I think it makes sense, unless Nemeth isn't staying around, then you obviously don't want to do that. I did hear a rumor a couple weeks ago that Nemeth might be heading to AEW. I don't know how far fetched that is, but look, nobody likes citing WWE talent more than Tony Khan. Like, he just signed Carlos Cabrera. And I saw a bunch of non-Spanish speaking people saying this is one of the great hires of all time. Right?
Yeah, how do you know?
They just, exactly. Right. And look, they hired Jennifer Pepperman, and people were like, oh, this is a great hire. You don't fucking know who Jennifer Pepperman is. Right. So
look, all I know is if she's responsible for the Mercedes stuff, it's not a great hire.
Yeah. And so I could see Nemeth with Johnny TV and Taya doing stuff on YouTube.
Fine.
I could see it.
I'm
you know what I mean? But I just heard around the way that AEW might be interested.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go to the chat, and then we're gonna close it up here. I know JD has got to get to bed, and my kid wants to play. So we got the AEW Fight Forever game, and
how is it?
It sucks. It really is terrible. But I'm not a gamer. I just bought my Switch like 3 weeks ago, and all we've played is Mario Kart. But my daughter saw the wrestling game. She's like, I want to play a wrestling game with you, Daddy. And I went. And it was like $20, and I had two $10 off coupons, so I got it for free.
Oh,
and so I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I got it for free at the Navy Exchange, just off the base here. And but it's fun to play with my daughter, and I just let her beat me up, so she wants to play.
So you're telling me these dudes took 4 years to make a bad video game?
They did. They absolutely did.
Wow.
And not a lot of people want to say that, because they love AEW. But I think it's time to have an adult conversation about two things right now going on with AEW. Fight Forever sucks. It's not a good game, and Mercedes Moné might not be that good. we have to wait till she gets in the ring, but we might have to come to the realization that Tony Khan spent a lot of money he ain't never gonna get back. So, but all right. So let's see. Let's go to the chat, and then we're gonna close it out. ECW Hardcore 07 says random match to watch: Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher. I don't know where that came from, my friend, but thank you for that suggestion. I remember watching some old Necro Butcher back on the early days of YouTube. He was like a popular guy. Yeah, and he was in the Wrestler. I remember that. And then he said Rebellion looks mid. Yeah. If you really like TNA, you probably would enjoy the card. But if you're not a TNA fan, you probably just pass this one up. They didn't really do anything to kind of go above and beyond. Richie Matthews says James Storm and new member of DCC, lights out Mike. DCC bring him. So I mean, look, what DCC was: James Storm, Eddie Kingston, and Tama Tonga's brother, right? What did they call him back then? I can't remember.
Tama Tonga's brother. Like, are we talking about Tangaloa?
Yes.
He was the other guy in DCC?
I think he was. I think he was Micah.
Was it?
Somebody correct me in the chat. Io, you know this stuff off the top of your head. You know this stuff better than me.
No, Bram. Io says it was Bram. That's right. It was Bram.
Bram, but wasn't Micah in it too? I don't know. I can't remember. They had like TNA every time they had like a reset, they would introduce a new faction.
That's what
so like they did it a lot, and so I just that one didn't stick around for very long.
It's weird that Eddie Kingston never really felt like Eddie Kingston in his runs in TNA. Like they did some cool stuff with later with some cool stuff with the LAX, but he still didn't quite hit his stride there.
No, they want him to be a manager, and so that's just the way Callis saw him. So Johnny B said Hammerstone looks better than Wardlow in AEW
because he is.
Yeah, he is better than Wardlow.
Way better.
Yeah. Let's see. Richie said the lights out thing again. Said Moose and Nemeth haven't touched each other in a while and already they're hyped to expectations. Let's see. Sure. Puff Dutch says I can't get into TNA. Yeah, you probably don't watch then. probably not enough for you. Io says no, it was Bram. Okay, so it's Eddie Kingston. It was Bram and James
Storm. I remember that.
But Micah was Tangaloa was in TNA at some point. I remember he was.
Is Tangaloa coming to WWE? Is he going to join the Bloodline too?
I don't think they want him. I don't.
They got Tama Tonga. I mean, like, is Tangaloa much worse?
People say what they want. Tama Tonga is way better than Tangaloa, and like Tama Tonga is capable when he's motivated to have to be pretty good.
When not motivated,
it's bad. Yeah, but I think that Hikuleo goes. I don't see Tangaloa going.
I can see Hikuleo. He's huge.
Yeah. And then so Jason says, "Sup, Mike and JD? How you feel about Jonathan Gresham new character and vignette?" I really like where they're going with Jonathan Gresham.
Pay attention.
TNA just signed Jonathan Gresham, and they have him doing like this these vignettes, kind of reintroducing him. He's been gone for a long time, and so I really dig what they're doing.
What's the vibe? What's the vibe on Jonathan Gresham?
I think they're kind of bringing him back as kind of like the Octopus and the Foundation version of Jonathan Gresham.
That's the best version of it.
Because when he came in, when we were doing the podcast and he was the Ring of Honor champion, like that was peak Jonathan Gresham.
Yes,
and I think that his AEW experience broke him. So when he came back to Impact after having that experience where he basically, he quit, got fired, whatever you want to say, like he wasn't the same guy. Like he was there, but there was there was nobody behind his eyes. Like he was like dead inside almost. And so now they let him go away and reset himself. So
it's so wild to me that he got asked to put over Claudio Castagnoli and died inside.
Dude, he went over there thinking that he was the man.
He did.
I'm the Ring of Honor champion. You bought this company and I'm the world champion. And he went over there and they're like, dude, more people watch Claudio on WWE main event on YouTube than ever saw you in Ring of Honor, right? You're going to put the belt on him, right? And so, and then he went in there and like he realized I was never shit, right? Like that's what he had to like get over there and like, get that realization when he got there. And all the Ring of Honor guys had to go through that. He was the only one that got all up in arms about it though, because he was the world champion.
But he it broke him. He's never been the same. It's been like 2 years, and he's like, it's fucking wild to me. And he's a good wrestler, but he's also 5'4".
Yes. So, which I think worked to his advantage. Like it made him unique in Ring of Honor that he was so small and stocky, and it was such a really good grappling wrestler.
Mhm.
And we'll see if that translates into success in TNA. He's only had one good match since in this latest run in TNA. It was against Alex Shelley, and I thought they tore it down. That was the last time we saw him, like back in August of last year. We have not seen him since.